My brother Orrin Sackett was big enough to fight bears with a switch. Me, I was the skinny one. Tall as Orrin, but no meat to my bones, except around the shoulders and arms. Orrin could sing like an angel, or like a true Welshman, which was better than any angel. Far away back, and on three sides of the family, we were Welsh. Orrin was a strapping big man, but for such a big man, he was surprising quick. Folks said I was the quiet one, and in the high-up hills, where we grew up as boys, folks fought shy of me come fighting time. Orrin was bigger than me, fit to wrestle a bull, but he lacked a streak of something I had. Maybe you recall the Sackett-Higgins feud. The time I tell about, we Sacketts were just fresh out of Higgins's. Long Higgins, the mean one, was also the last one. He came hunting Sackett hide with an old squirrel rifle, and it was Orrin he was hunting, being mighty brave because he knew Orrin wouldn't be packing anything in the way of sidearms at a wedding. Orrin was doing no thinking about Higgins's this day, with Mary Tripp there to greet him, and his mind set on marrying, so I figured it was my place to meet Long Higgins down there on the road. And just as I was fixing to call him to a stand, Preacher Myrick drove his rig between us, and by the time I got around it, Long Higgins was standing spraddle-legged in the road with a bead on Orrin. And folks started to scream, and Long Higgins shot. And Mary, who saw him first, pushed Orrin to save him, only she fell off balance and fell right into the bullet intended for Orrin. Long! He turned sharp around, knowing my voice, and he had that rifle waist high and aimed for me, his lips drawn down hard. Long Higgins was a good hip shot with a rifle, and he shot quick, maybe too quick. That old hog leg of mine went back into the holster, and Long Higgins lay there in the dust. And when I turned around, that walk up into the trees was the longest I ever did take, except one I took a long time later. Ollie Shattuck might have been down there, and I knew if Ollie called, I'd have to turn around, for Ollie was the law in these mountains, and away back somewheres, we were kin. When Ma saw me cutting through the woods, she knew something was crossways. It took me only a minute to tell her. She sat in that old rocker and looked me right in the eye while I told it. Ty, she was almighty stern. Was Long Higgins looking at you when you fetched him? Right in the eye. Take the dapple, Ma said. He's the runningest horse on the mountain. You go west, and when you find a place with deep, rich soil and a mighty game in the hills, you get somebody to write a letter, and we'll come down there, the boys and me. She looked around at the place, which was mighty run down. Workers would, and us Sacketts were workers. We still hadn't anything extra, and scarcely a poor living. So Ma had been talking up the west ever since Pa died. Most of it she got from Pa, for he was a wandering and a knowing man, never to home long. But Ma loved him for all of that, and so did we young'uns. He had a Welshman's tongue, Pa did, a tongue that could twist a fine sound from a word and could bring a singing to your blood, so you could just see that far land yonder, waiting for folks to come and crop it. Those old blue eyes of Ma's were harder to face than was Long Higgins, and him with a gun to hand. Ty, do you reckon you could kill Ollie? To nobody else would I have said it, but to Ma, I told the truth. I never want to, Ma, because we're kin, but I could fetch him. I think maybe I can draw a gun faster and shoot straighter than anybody anywhere. She took the pipe from her lips. 18 years now I've seen you growing up, Tyrell Sackett, and for 12 of them you've been drawing and shooting. Pa told me when you was 15 that he'd never seen the like. Ride with the law, Ty. Never against it. She drew the shawl tighter around her knees. If the Lord wills, we will meet again in the western lands.